Mutunga, would you kindly introduce yourself in 1 minute? Who is Dr. Willy Mutunga? We have your extended bio. We know you accomplished a lot as a professional, but we want to get to know you as a person, especially because you're not here physically. Please tell us, what would you like us to know about you?
I can put my video of 4 minutes so that you see me, because if I put it on, I will have problem with the audio. But just in case someone thinks I'm a robot, let me just have my category. Okay, that's it.
So I've been told not to touch the computer, so I cannot show you the people in the room. But when they're asking their questions, I will request them to come here so you see them.
Okay, that's good. Then let's start.
Okay, so we had agreed on a few questions. I'll start with the one that you have here as question number 4, and that came from you. When did you start serving the public?
I thought that was going to be the last one, but that's fine. I would say I started serving the public when I was very young. In the village in the 50s. All of us were children of the community. So there is a lot of stuff we did for that community, and that was actually serving the public. So I go back that far. And when you asked me that question, I thought we all start serving the public, from very, very early age. And in my case, that was in the 50s, mid 50s. In the community, people will ask you to do stuff, to run errands. This is not necessarily your parents and relatives, but everybody in the village, was entitled to that public service.
All right, thank you. So these are questions that were put together by my dear friend and brother Kefa Otiso, who is also one of the people who founded the organization Kenya Scholars and Studies Association. So question number 1 from Kefa: what is the role of academics in public service?
The role of academics in public service, the role of intellectuals in public service.
I will reduce the pay
We don't
from my
exist in a vacuum. Okay? So academics and public intellectuals have their intellectual, ideological, and political positions, and that role becomes very, very, very important when they join the public service. If you look at Kenya, I can give you a lot of examples of intellectuals and academics who have joined in the public service, either as professors or lecturers. Some have gone to actually the public service proper, or narrowly defined. People who work in the civil service, who work for institutions, who work for the government. And the role of academics and intellectuals in public service is a double-edged sword, in my view. When you look at a lot of us who are working in public service, there are some who basically reinforce the status quo. So that would be the role of academics, and there is a history of it. If you look at the history of academics at the University of Nairobi, you see that there were some who supported the dictatorship then and the status quo, and the others who were opposed to it. So that's why I'm saying that there are different roles, for the academics. But of course, the major one for me is where we serve the public, we serve the people, because there are always spaces where that can be done. We have examples of people who have done that. So the paper I sent to Esther, once our brothers and sisters read it, they'll get that analysis of, who are academics, who are intellectuals, and what is their role, not just in the public service, but in society, at large. But I think I've answered that question, and I basically said there are roles that are being played, that we cannot analyze them in a vacuum. We've got to basically say, is if you take, for example, the debate that is in Nairobi now about a very well-known public intellectual and academic, Mutunga, who come from my county, and we founded the Kenyan Human Rights Commission in 1991, along with others. But the debate here, that's a fantastic case. If you follow the debate on Twitter, okay, there are people who think that, the role is played, you should play it. The others who think that, you should play it. And the others, D is another example. Kibwana, who you're going to talk to, is another academic who did very well as a governor. Again, if you take one as an example, Willy, he implemented the constitution within his constituency, within his county. No stealing, no wastage of resources, people's participation. Everybody in Makueni participated in the budgets, and when he had problems with the MCS, there was a political struggle, and he got them out ultimately, and he was able to do stuff, and his county became, praised. It was praised for that, and you can say the same thing of Anyanyum, I think, in Kisumu. It's being praised for some of the things is done there. But the others who, of course, are praised by, quarters that we don't agree with. I think, Esther, you get my drift, and I'll stop there.
Thank you, Dr. Mutunga. Then I'll pose one final question, and then we'll invite participation from the audience. So remember, this is what Dr. Mutunga wants, so be prepared to start asking questions. What is the Kenyan Public Service, and how can we, I'm assuming here we mean scholars in the diaspora, what is Kenyan Public Service, and how can we, diaspora scholars and students, strengthen it?
Yeah, I think our students and others, the diaspora, are already doing a lot. But if you're asking what role you can play in the public service, again, the question is, and I can give an example of one of the leading professors in the US, who is a well-known specialist in trade law. And he wanted to help the the Kenyan government negotiate a trade agreement with the US, one that is called STIP. And he wanted to promote. He wasn't charging them anything. He basically wanted to make sure that our country got the best out of that agreement. But it was turned down. It was turned down. So the question of what you can do is fundamentally a political question. Because you might offer your services, nobody wants your services. Okay. And it's a whole issue of why the Kenyan leadership, over years, doesn't pick the best brains that we have all over the world. Okay? And why Kenya hasn't even read about China. That was China was several developed countries to the diaspora, which of course now there are struggles in China between the billionaires who came from the West. But it's a good example of a country relying on its citizens and the quality of on political expertise that those citizens bring a country. And we must have a leadership that values our compatriots in the diaspora, and not just go after people who will take orders. You have to go for people who love the country, who know what is in the national interest, as they serve the country. And I think there is grateful because the quality and expertise that you have there, you compete among the very best in the world. And, for a country to have a leadership that does not appreciate that, that's wrong. And that's why I'm going to that issue, because I'm looking at it as a political question. A lot of the politicians come to the US, and you give them money to come and engage in politics of division. So again, that's a role of playing in public service, I guess. And I understand politics of division is also reflected in the Kenyans in the diaspora, which is also, very, very, very sad. And already to come to your participation and breathing life into your constitutional rights. That's a fundamentally political question that we have to think through and think how to participate. As an important group in this foreign country.
Thank you. I think we are ready for audience questions. Please come if you don't mind coming here, or if there's a microphone room, but if you come here, you'll see your face. Dr. Mutunga, are you still there with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so Patrick Mose is walking up. I'm turning on the camera so you see him.
Okay. Hi.
Good morning, Dr. Mutunga. It's an honor to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's afternoon here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just forgot. We just woke up. Yeah, we're still waking up. My name is Patrick Mose. I have one question, and this question is based on trends.
Yes.
I've observed since the predecessors, Chunga, you and Maraga. I've observed you don't really participate when it comes to your successors, each of you, and I'm wondering what will be your role as a successor, as successors, former Chief Justice's successors, in taming rogue successors, predecessors taming rogue successors, because we have instances of a president or current Chief Justice going rogue on some issues. So what is the role of predecessors taming or helping to shape the way in which the current Chief Justice can help move Kenya forward without being pulled like a marionette?
Okay, maybe Patrick, you probably don't know that the Chief Justice is, since 2017, as part of our retirement, those who retire as Chief Justice and Deputy Chief Justice, just like the Speaker, the Prime Minister, the President, the Vice Presidents, there is a statute that is called Deputy President and Designated Offices Act, okay? And what it does is it creates offices for retired Chief Justice and Deputy Chief Justice. We were supposed to have that office as a public office where you can defend the judiciary sometimes. You can also critique the judiciary. But as usual, Parliament hasn't even funded it. So what I have in the office of the former Chief Justice Duncan Okello, who is my chief of staff, and most of the time he's working for the judiciary because we don't have office, we don't have anything. And for me, I keep in touch I kept in touch with Maraga, was my successor. I keep in touch with Komen, and defend the judiciary when the judiciary can't defend itself. Okay, because you are out, and so you can stand up and say, this is wrong. And if you follow me on X, I've done a lot of that. I've also criticized the judiciary as well. When the JNC, this year the JNCs and millennials were demonstrating, what we saw the magistrates do to the people who are charged was unacceptable. Delaying rulings for bail, and when it came to bail, these are young people who have no jobs, and you tell them to pay 200K as cash bail, which means that, the court is second guessing, the executive, and because they can't raise that kind of money, even 5,000 is a lot of money. So they say, and I critique that because I was part of the group that did the bail bond policy, and the fundamental principle of that policy was that if somebody shows that they will attend trial, that's enough. And you can get the chief to come and vouch for them, or you can get a relative. You remember the case of the young woman who was killed in a police station in Nanyuki. She was a daughter of a chief. Okay, and in a situation like that, you can call the chief, the father, and say, "Will your daughter come, to court?" So I have telling the judiciary, I've also criticized the judiciary. There are cases where I talk to my successors. And basically, we have a discussion about judicial politics. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you are dealing with people who are politicians. And and the whole issue of